This is not safe, but I'm pulling up on a Lambo. I'm recording in the Platycee. He's honking. Oh. All right, I apologize, boys. Do not film and drive, but when a Lambo pulls up and you're in the Platycee, you got to do it to him. Well, apparently we're breaking the Cummins in wrong. People in the comments saying we need more load, so here you go.
She broke loose.
Oh, dude, this thing gets it now. We got to do that again.
It does feel good, man. Never felt like this before, bro.
Hey, this is what the people wanted. We're breaking her in right now.
You gonna do it from a dig?
Now I'll do it from we'll go from a 15 roll here. Dude, she's
Pulling, man.
A new turbo putting it to work. It's actually pretty fast.
No, it is. I'm
That's
honestly
just
surprised.
That's just in two-wheel drive. That's the last donut we're doing as the Platycee, because today she's coming apart. So quiet. So as you guys know, Cleetus is having an all-wheel drive shootout on the backside of Bradenton once again. It's the day before FL2K. We have raced the Platycee in it twice now. The first one we actually won his all-wheel drive shootout in the minivan. The second one got a little more serious. He invited Midnight Performance out and a lot faster cars showed up and we got beat the second round. But we got lined up with some really fast stuff, and I think this thing would have a solid chance if we took the van body back off, because right now as the Platycee, it weighs over 1,000 pounds more with the van body than it did when it was E-Roy without the van body, and that 1,000 pounds makes a huge difference. It's well over a half second faster to the 8th mile as E-Roy on a prep track, mind you. It's kind of different from no prep, but at least on the prep track, we went a 5.6 as E-Roy, and the van I think did a best of like a 6.2 or a 6.1 on the prep surface. And on the street, I bet we can get pretty close to what E-Roy was doing, even on a no prep with a better tire, because we also didn't have the best tire on this thing. And this time around, we got some sticky tires for this event. So the plan is to take the Platycee back apart, and we're gonna convert it into E-Roy again, and we're gonna run Cleetus's all-wheel drive shootout and see if we can hold our own against some really heavy hitters. He has some of the fastest no prep cars in the country coming, so even if we lose, I ain't gonna be mad, but we will put up a much better fight if we take the van body back off and get a real tire on this thing. Drop 1,000 pounds, get some more traction. I think it will be a serious competitor just because it's gonna be so consistent. Even if it's not the fastest, consistency is usually what can win races. So that's our plan, because all of my other all-wheel drive cars don't stand a chance. We have 3 other all-wheel drive Hondas that are making 1,400 horsepower. We have my buddy Aaron Lopez, Miles Kerr with the Gringo Integra, and Pipa Tech, I believe. 3 very nasty all-wheel drive Hondas, so they're going to be repping the Honda crew out there. And the only thing I have a chance with is going to be the Platycee here, converted into E-Roy. And then we're also bringing Wyatt's diesel race truck as well, and that thing actually has a pretty solid chance as well, because he's running, low 8th mile times as well. So me and Wyatt are both racing, but we got to get the Platycee converted back into E-Roy. So we're going to go ahead and unbolt this body, and this is the first time we've attempted to do it. It should come off pretty easily. I mean, it's literally just bolted to the Tesla chassis. We got 3 mounts along the side, the 2 on the back, and take the front end off, and she should be back into E-Roy again. And then we just got to rebuild the exo cage and we'll be good to go.
Got it. Watch the.
I got it. Hope you guys are happy getting rid of the old Neck Slicer 9000. This thing going down the drag strip was going up and down. We added the piece of L bracket there to help stiffen it up. but she's finally coming back out.
Never gonna have to use that again.
Never gonna have to use the neck slicer again. Don't worry, it's gone in the trash.
Or in your next order.
Well, she's been unplatycified.
What a
Yeah,
word.
it really wasn't too bad though. Probably took us about 45 minutes in total.
It wasn't bad
There was
at
a
all.
couple brackets that we forgot about, like down here. We were trying to pull up on the body and it wasn't budging. But got everything undone. We bent the body just a little bit. So safe to say this Odyssey body is done. And when the Platycee comes back, it will be version 2 on the Model X with the new Odyssey body. But we're good to back it out. Kind of got a final destination setup going on right now.
Hurry up and get it out, man. I don't know how long it's gonna hold.
If we trust that. That's a freaking redneck guillotine right there. All right, ready?
Oh man.
All right. I got the roll cage now, so I'm safe.
Oh yeah.
As long as I just stay back.
As long as you clear that back. It's gonna be real close.
I don't want to be in here if it's gonna touch it. Don't even touch it, dude.
I'm not touching it. I just don't.
Oh.
I want to make sure. Come on, man. Hold on.
Oh, we're good.
Good.
Yeah. Am I gonna hit that door over there?
Don't wait in that spot too long.
Am I good?
It looks good.
The door, am I good?
Yeah. Just get out of there, man. Come on. Scaring me.
All right. I'm out of the danger zone.
Good old Eroy back.
Back with no windshield. That's part of the plan too. We have no windshield, so it's going to be that much more aerodynamic because you got to think the surface area of the windshield is quite a bit. So now the air doesn't have to hit that and deflect. It can just,
Right off your helmet.
yep, just my helmet and the roll cage is the only thing stopping the air up here. My plan is to try to get the front end put back on, get the hood, bumper, and fenders, and then just let it ride.
Get away from there.
The time has officially come to retire version 1 of the Platycee. I still think this is one of the coolest ideas we've ever had, but Platycee version 2 is gonna be even better. But now we have nothing to do with this shell, and Wyatt has a Sawzall ready to go.
And I know how to use this thing. Yeah, man. One less thing on the property. We're running out of room, so V1's got to go. V2's
Yep.
going to be sick, though.
We saved it from the junkyard, and now it's going to a scrapyard.
Yep. Poor girl's seen some things in her life, and this is the end for her.
This van has had one hell of a life, and this is gonna be it for her, so bye-bye.
Toodaloo.
Well, it ain't much to one when you cut it though. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't know it's gonna be. I don't care. If I hit you good on here, you know what?
Get that out of there.
Yeah.
The rest of you can have.
That's a good hitch pin over there.
50 pin. Never have enough room.
Man. To think that was the whole car just the other day.
Old girl's last leg of life here.
Yep.
She's done for.
The Platycee is no more, boys. The scrap guys just got here, and they are taking it all away. There she goes, all that's left of her.
Could have built a whole car with that, man.
Just like that, Platycee's gone. We had some other scraps, so we decided to just get her cut up since the scrap guys were coming, and it's all gone.
that fast, man.
In and out.
It's crazy. On to the next.
It's all right, though. We got version 2 coming up soon. And just like that, guys, the Platycee is no more. But we have Eroy back here, and we need to get this thing ready for the all-wheel drive shootout. And I think we're gonna have a much better chance with all that weight taken off of it. So we're gonna go ahead and rebuild out the rest of the roll cage, because as you guys know, this used to be a complete 10-point roll cage when it was Eroy, and we wanna build that back out because they're obviously not gonna let us run without the rest of the roll cage there. Get my window net back in, feet and arm restraints, and that should all be good to go. We're gonna see about maybe getting the front end back on as well, because it looks much better with the front end, plus with the aerodynamics, that's gonna help us. But we removed a lot of the bracketry that we needed to put the front end back on, so we'll see about that. We were actually going to make a new front end. We'll talk more on that later, but it didn't work out. So we'll see if we can get a front end back on this thing. But right now, we are getting the wheels and tires pulled off because we got another pretty big upgrade here. And I think this is gonna be the ticket to us doing as best as possible at the all-wheel drive shootout, and that is these radials right here. So this is a Mickey Thompson Pro Bracket radial, and I believe these are pretty new, because back when I was looking for tires for the Tesla when we were trying to chase the record, I couldn't find a size that was within the right range we needed to not freak the Tesla out. If you guys don't remember, these Teslas are pretty picky about their tire size. You need the overall diameter of the tire to be about 27 to 28.5 inches, somewhere in that range. And if you go too far outside of that, even just by an inch or so, it freaks the car out and it limits power. And I was looking online again just to see if there was any other options that we could throw on this thing for this race. And it turns out Mickey Thompson has a Pro Bracket radial that's a 20-inch tire to fit our already 20-inch Unplugged Performance wheels. It's 11.5, and I mean, you can see this thing is pretty much a slick, other than the cord makeup, which makes it a radial. And yeah, I think these guys are gonna help us a lot. So she's way lighter now. We actually are gonna have a pretty serious tire on this thing, and I'm excited to see what it does. But you can see right here that it says that this is a 29-inch, and I was a little worried when I first saw that. I was like, that's probably gonna be a little too big, and it might freak the car out, but the fine print is that it's actually like a 28.7, I believe, something like that. They actually just rounded up to that 29 when they listed it. So it is actually a little smaller in diameter than the 29 inches there. So I'm hoping we should be able to get away with running these and the car won't freak out. And we're also gonna have to make sure that it fits on the front, because the way the shock tower is designed over there, the tire gets really close to this upper control arm right here. When the tire's on there, it does not have much space in between right there. So with these tires being a little bit bigger in diameter, we're gonna have to make sure that, you know, that clears. And I think that's a pretty telling sign right there. If the tire hits that, they ain't gonna work, but it should clear no problem. So we're gonna go ahead and get these tires dismounted and swap over to the new Pro Bracket radials. And I think the Platinum might have a solid chance. We're racing some of the fastest all-wheel drive, no prep cars in the country. So we'll see if this thing can hold its own. It's the only electric car going, but I think she's gonna have a solid chance just because of how consistent it is. So we're gonna do everything we can. All right, guys, we got the new Pro Bracket radials on Eroy here, and the front is a little tight, like I was worried about. So check this out. You can see the front spindle arm, if that's what you want to call it, that wraps up and over here. It is a tight squeeze between that guy and the tire. You can see right there, it's almost touching in that corner. I mean, that's like maybe an 1/8 inch, and then the rest of this is maybe about a 1/4 inch gap, somewhere in there. Surprisingly, it looks like that from factory. Even with the 21-inch wheels and tires, it comes really close, but these are definitely a little bit tighter. We're gonna have to keep an eye on these tires and make sure they don't expand too much with speed and start rubbing. That's gonna be the main concern. So we definitely need to do some testing, make sure we don't run into any issues that might pop a tire, because yeah, that is a tight squeeze, but that's about as wide and tall of a tire you can fit on a Model S here without modifying anything. So we'll go ahead and give it a test drive, make sure it doesn't freak anything out, and we'll do some testing later on, but hopefully this game plan works. I mean, they're on there, so they're gonna be way stickier for sure. They sound stickier.
It looks so aggressive.
All right, first test drive on the radials. Got my new windshield. So I did a quick test run down the road in Eroy, and I can tell you guys right now, these tires are going to work way better than any setup we've had on the car so far. You can probably see in the video, it kind of rolled out just for a second. It kind of was hesitant, maybe the first 20 feet. And then once it laid the power in, this thing was hooking, like all of it. And it put me in that seat pretty good. I'm really curious to see what kind of G-forces it's pulling. And I want to go somewhere where we can do multiple runs, get a draggy on there, and find out what combination it likes. Because I'd really love if we could find a way just to let the traction control, just let it slip a little bit and not be so sensitive. So it might be better to try to run this thing in like track mode or something like that. But we'll have to play with it and see. That was literally only 25% battery, and I'm sure it's gonna be way peppier with a full charge. And you can see right here, those tires did not rub whatsoever. We are good to go there. Obviously, we're gonna go a little bit faster in a full 1/8 mile, so we do wanna go somewhere where we can test that, go a little quicker, make sure those don't expand and touch. But I was really just wanting to check that the tires weren't going to wig the car out at all, and it made no difference. It applied full power for sure. So I am pretty pumped about that. So hopefully the next time we do something with Eroy, I will find a place where we can bring it and we can do multiple runs and just do some testing with the draggy, because I want to see what this thing can do. I'm hoping realistically we can get it to go like a 5.7 would be sweet. If we go like a 5.7 in the 1/8 mile on a completely unprepped road, which I think is pretty realistic for this thing, I think we'll have a pretty good chance, because some of the cars that are coming out are very fast, but I'm assuming most of those guys are going to be in the mid 5-second range, maybe like a 5.40, 5.30 for some of the really fast ones. But that back of the track surface is really not that prepped. A lot of like no prep events or no prep spots, they run cars there a lot and it becomes prep because so much rubber has been laid down and it has some stick to it. But the back of the track is pretty rough, I would say. But I don't know, some of these guys could just come out and run bottom fives. I honestly have no idea, but I'm assuming some of these guys are going to be in the mid fives, even some of the fastest ones. So if we can be within a couple tenths of those guys with how consistent this is and with how quick I can be on the light and with how easily I can not chase if they try to jump me, because all I got to focus on in this thing is just stop and go. There's no like e-brake. I'm not like building two-step. So nothing is really distracting me. It's either just go or don't go. So we'll see what we can do. I'm just going to have some fun either way, and Wyatt's getting his truck ready for it as well. But that's it on Eroy for right now. I'll give you guys a quick sneak peek on the hatch. So check this out, guys. She is back in, looking sweet. I have been working on the hatch a ton in the background, so I have a big update on this thing coming up. I'm hoping to get it fully buttoned up and running here very soon. And we have also been helping Emilio a little bit. He has Hondaroo over here, and we're getting this thing prepped and ready to go to the track. And we're hoping to stomp out a PB because he has been down for too long in Hondaroo. We got to back up his 9-second pass that he did like 9 years ago. We got him that freshly built engine. So he's been leaving this thing here. We're going to try to help him run even faster. And we also have a huge announcement coming up on Friday. So on Friday's video, big announcement. Keep a lookout for that one. But that's going to do it for this video. Unfortunately, the Platycee is gone. I'm going to miss that thing, but the second version of the Platycee is going to be much better. So I'm not sure when we're going to get to it. We are so freaking busy right now. And that's going to do it for this video, though. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thanks for watching.